Hi Virgo, this is your homework family reading for all Virgo signs, Sun and Rising Venus. For July 1st through the 15th. I'll just make sure I'm clearing out some more energy so that it's all nice and good and healthy. Virgos, July 1st through the 15th. I kind of feel like you're coming to know yourself again. And what I'm given is what looks like a polar bear playing with a cat. For me, the cat is actually a kitten, but it's a white polar bear playing with a kitten, and I feel like they're both you. I feel like the polar bear is a protective side of you, but being white is also... See, and normally I associate white with the higher self, but I feel like this is coming out of your universal 12th house. Because I feel like it's also been... Because it's a polar bear, so I feel like it's cold. I feel like it's, what you've left in the cold, the bear that's protected you, that's back there in the cold, you know. But he's just playing with the kitten. And I feel like the kitten is allowing it to feel loved. Like the cold from within is able to start to feel loved and able to enjoy things and find a new air, a new breath of fresh air, like the child being there brought back some mystery, back some new ideas. So it's like the cat energy is boosting, the kitten's cat energy is boosting the inner polar bear. And then I'm also given what feels like a bird getting ready to soar. So I feel like you're coming back into a new love for self, a new acceptance of self, a new revitalization, a new renewal, regeneration, within yourself in some form. And is basically what I'm really, really getting in this area. Is how I really feel about things right now. But when I get into astrology, because I'm not getting any of my other things from spirit that tends to be issues that I speak of. I'm just getting, the images of what I'm being shown. And I feel like you're really on the go. Maybe it's on the go or just very busy or making a decision, and in some form it's just speedy on the go is what I feel like. It may be go, 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 very busy in general, but I feel like pieces of you of getting up and going. I mean, and it might be, it might have to do with that polar bear also going through some negative energies that it's getting rid of. It's clearing out. I mean, that's the positive thing. I feel like the mystery, all of the energy of the cat energy, which happens to be a kitten along with additional playfulness, happens to just be giving you a breath of fresh air, helping you to reignite yourself, relight your own flame. And with that is parts of you that aren't needed anymore. It feels like are just going, like up and going, or else you're just very busy and on the go. And I do feel like for July, I was given 8 to give everybody, which means a lot of abundance is coming in. But abundance is also speaking to us all of... 8 speaks to me of abundance, but it also speaks to me of infinity. It speaks to me of the never ending. But it also speaks to me of karma. So the abundance has a way to go either direction right now, depending on what you project as far as manifestation goes. And for some reason, I'm feeling very importantly that the decisions that are made on the 7th and the 8th, the decisions, the actions, the conversations that are made on July 7th and 8th are really going to have something to do with re-steering the direction that you're going in on your path. You may not realize it at that very time. I mean, it may not seem like it was a big deal at that time, but something about the decisions, the actions, the communication that takes place on the 7th and 8th and the choices that are made within that feels like it's really what's pushing it in that direction, and whether you notice it or not, it's coming from that time is basically what I'm feeling like. Now, in astrology, we have Mars moving into Leo on the 1st. You have the eclipse taking place with the new moon in Cancer on the 2nd. You have Venus moving into Cancer on the 3rd. You have Mercury going retrograde on the 7th. You have all of the energy is more or less pulling us up through and into that full moon that's taking place in Capricorn in the second part of the month on the 16th. But, first off, Mercury goes retrograde on the 7th in Leo. And up until the 7th, it's in shadow. So, a lot of us in our conversation, the communication in general, has been in shadow. It's really picking things apart from a negative point of view of all forms of communication. Now, for you, Virgo, where is that? Oh, duh, it's in Leo, duh. So, it's actually in your universal 12th house. So, that makes more sense as to why I'm seeing the polar bear and the cat. Which means you have the opportunity right now to really sift through some deep healing. Like I was saying a lot, Kokub is, illuminating Mars, Mercury, and Ura. Or Jura, however you want to pronounce it, which is sacrificing commitment. It is sacrificing commitment added with Mercury's communication up until the 7th, which is in shadow in the universal 12th house, looking at some of those really darker aspects. But then after that, it goes into retrograde, which means it's only talking to you. It may not necessarily be in such as dark aspects. But then you have Mars there, which is passion, action, aggression, fire. It is your inner warrior, your inner SWAT team. It's also your sexual energy, your sacral chakra. So all of this energy about how you feel about yourself and the sacrifice and commitment it takes to get you on the right side of you, and the darker communication, which is some of your ego trying to tell you, your ego and your higher self, having a conversation over your own fears, over your own doubts, over your own denials. The 12th house is your subconscious. It's your hidden self. It's your unconscious mind, your karmic debts, your self-deception, your mental illness, your self-sacrifice, your self-undoing. It's these bad habits that we've created. It's the bad habits we've created and we've held on to, and we didn't realize that we've created the bad habits, bad addictions, bad patterns, and the frustrations that they've caused because they no longer serve us, but we continue to maintain to do them. That's why we have skeletons in the closet. It's things we haven't healed, but we haven't healed it, but we hid it from ourselves. We put it away, and when it stays in the closet, I don't have to really acknowledge it. It deals with the issues you don't want to deal with. You've got your warrior there. You've got your sacral chakra there right now. You've got your sexual energy, your passion, your action, your fire. Your commitment is in it right now. Sacrifice is in it right now. Communication, though, is dark at the moment until the 7th when it goes retrograde. So, I mean, and you've got Kokub illuminating it, and it's your universal 12th house. Kokub illuminating it is illuminating the stuff you don't want to see, so you have to fix it. It's illuminating the rules, walls, and boundaries that screwed it up, needs to be shifted so that you could get out of this. And it's the sensitivities of why you put it in the closet in the first place. So I feel like your magic is the kitten starting to fall back in love with you, and the polar bear is finding joy from inside of that universal 12th house, which means healing is being made, which means you will be able to start moving into that universal first house and start a new cycle in a healthy way, as long as this is what you're doing and you are working through it. That makes complete sense. So that would be actually like, good job, I mean, is what I'm getting. I feel like this is the path you're on, and it should be, working out for you as long as you are doing your work. Now, the new moon and the eclipse energy is taking place for you in your universal 5th house and 11th. So then that makes even more sense, because this is talking about your 5th house is your pursuit of pleasure. It's your children, your creative house. It's your creative house. It's how your creative expression is expressed. It speaks to you of how you create and you enjoy life, or where you're not creating and enjoying life, so that you can learn how to correct the issues. It also speaks to you of, where love is found, where love begins, your personal interests in general. It's your hobbies, it's dating, it's sex, it's children, it's where your inner child likes to play. And that would be allowing that kitten of that universal 5th house to speak to the universal 12th house and heal it. But the thing is, it's not getting along. Where were we at again? It's not getting along with the 11th house. And I'm being told right now it's not getting along with some of those larger groups that you have to deal with within your own personal community and friends. It may be membership issues that you're a part of. It's where your hopes, your goals, your dreams, you find your liberty and your self-realization is. So something about this outer community is fighting that pursuit of pleasure. Now, the illumination is coming out of the 11th house, of those larger groups. The larger groups is going to have the north node there, the moon, and the sun. And this is actually a Cancer energy. So this is more of a nesting energy. But this is also where the empath gets highly evolved and highly confused. Okay, because you're very much able to pick up all of that energy and the confusion and frustration of everybody else, and it's going back over and fighting the rules, walls, and boundaries for the pursuit of pleasure that you wish to have in your life. So where are you not getting it? Because of the different groups that you're part of the communities that you're part of. Which side of this has something that's not serving you? Something that you've gotten very good at, you do it very well, but it doesn't really serve you anymore. It's boring. It's boring, and it's like I've said a lot of times. I've been at my job that I still have while I'm building my business, and I still am holding down both of them, and I'm really good at my old job, but I don't want to be a boss anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore. So I've stepped back so that I don't have to be as responsible. I can still do the parts of the job that I want to, so that I can really focus on what I want to focus on in life. Now, I could go back and do that. I could make more money. I could move. I could do all these other things, but I wouldn't like me anymore, because that's not who I want to be. You see what I'm saying? There's something about realizing within the pursuit of pleasure where you're not getting it and why you're not getting it. What you have to do to change it to make this so versus, the outer community, these larger groups, these friends, your wishes, your goals, your dreams. What are you not getting? Where are you not going down the right road? Where are you not putting the effort in? And where have you put it in but it may be in the wrong place? So that you can understand this, because all of this energy is illuminating these two areas for you, and then it's bringing up rules, walls, and boundaries all over the place. Right now we have rules, walls, and boundaries, illumination, and sensitivity like on high alert. Okay, so, and that's for everybody, not just for you. So, I mean, there's a lot of energy going on. And like you said, you're going to have Cancer moving in. I mean, you're going to have Venus moving in to that extra sensitive house of your 11th house, right after you have the eclipse. And then Mercury, like I said, is going to be going retrograde in the 12th house. So it's going to go into over communication with yourself. As long as you're being honest with yourself, you're really being honest with yourself, you're not bullshitting yourself in any way, shape, or form, and you're trying to get to know you, not fix, but heal issues you have within yourself. Get past your skeletons in the closet. You're really working on what you truthfully desire in life, and you're not allowing anybody to push you around and tell you what you should be desiring. You're going after what you desire. Then this is going to be a healing thing. Even if it's baby steps. It's that simple. And then the full moon will be taking place, releasing, surrendering, letting go of stuff within that 11th house. So, something about letting go of goals that aren't important anymore, letting go of wishes or dreams or hopes that really weren't really your dreams or hopes. You see what I'm saying? There were other people's, other groups. It was put on you to believe that's what you should want, but you're starting to realize what you really do want. And you'll be able to start really working towards that as you come to the second half of the month, because you're starting to realize what it is and the direction that you should be shifting it is what I feel like is really going on through these eclipses for you, which will definitely set you up for August when we have the Lionsgate, because there's a major ascension going on then, and it'll set you up to be in the right direction and in the right place, the right time to start really moving you in a more rapid way. But I feel like abundance is coming in, and all that is important right now is that you're on the right side of yourself, so that you're bringing the proper abundance, not karmic abundance. Now, let me just double check real fast. Yeah, most of this stuff is going on with the outer world, with what is important to you versus your personal urges, your personal beliefs, your personal understandings, your personal issues versus what the world around you has told you, and where that is important within those relationships is really where I feel like this is all going for you. I feel like it's definitely a positive thing. Like I said, I feel like as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're working in that universal 12th house and you're aware of it, then you're going to come through this quite nice. Like I said, I feel like the polar bear is getting a chance to enjoy, getting a chance to talk to its magic and reignite its flame with its magic, and being able to find healing in it. So I feel like you're coming out of the cold, in a sense. So I feel like this is a good thing, but that's only if you're working on yourself. If you're in denial and you're lying to yourself about things, it's going to go a whole nother way. Okay, Virgo. Oh, I'm missing a card. My box that I keep them in tends to try to eat one of the cards each time. Ow. I just stabbed myself with my cards. The very first card out is the Devil. Like I said, you're in the universal 12th house. It makes sense. You're dealing with your shadow. You're dealing with the shadow and the primal passions and the needs, the desires, the addictions, the self-sabotage. This is you just dealing with the universal 12th house and trying to find peace and truce with yourself, because this is the Two of Swords. So, I mean, this is saying where you're at already, and this is pretty much what we already said. This is you trying to find growth, peace, justice, liberty within yourself, within your subconscious, and moving forward. But you're definitely dealing with everything that the devil has to offer, because that is where the universal 12th house is, and is all. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it would match that. You've been dealing with also some tower energy, some conflict, some confusion, some disorder, some chaos, some strife, possibly a Leo. This is Saturn energy, trying to figure out what the rules, the walls, the boundaries are. And like I said, sifting through that 12th house and then dealing with the truths of it and the relationships, the people, the peers you have. There's definitely plenty of reason to be seeing this and having to go through this. Because if you're truly working on yourself, you're going to be noticing things that need to change, and where the chaos and the disorder has been, where the tower feeling has been going on, the confusion, the conflicts, but I'm being told disorder more than anything. And you're seeing where the truth of this is, so that you can start to make the changes. Because next they throw out the Ten of Pentacles, which means if you stay doing what you're doing, you'll get everything you want. This is sitting comfy, sitting pretty. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to work through all of that 12th house and start manifesting properly, is where they're at. They're saying right off the bat, I mean, they went from one extreme to the next. So it feels, like I said, I feel like you're coming into a new you by healing a part of an old you that you didn't even necessarily understand was partially your fault. And I say partially because, there are things in life that also happen, sometimes that are past our ability, but we hold on to our lives, we hold on to our emotions, and we ultimately are the ones making the decision that create it. The only way, they're saying you've been sifting through all of your, you've had sleepless nights about all of this. You've been having problems about all of this. You're not sure if you'll get your Ten of Pentacles. You can get your Ten of Pentacles. Keep doing what you're doing. Not crying. I mean, but you've been overthinking, overanalyzing, because that's what the devil is, the universal 12th house. You've been working through it. You've been going through it. You've been giving yourself like a tough time. But they already said, more or less, you could come out roses, but you have to keep doing what you're doing. That's just what the 12th house is. Because the very first one they give you for a challenge is the Wheel of Fortune. You can turn this wheel any direction you want. It all depends on what you do in your 12th house. Will you start this cycle all over, or are you going to heal because you're doing what you're doing? Like I said, if you're being honest with yourself, you're going to do what you're supposed to. You're going to start a brand new cycle. You'll turn this wheel up and move upward instead of just shifting back down and restarting all over again. But that is your challenge. It's up to you. Free will is the choice to see it through. What else? Is there anything else here that needs to be a challenge for Virgo? Yeah, pretty much what I was thinking. Okay, I'm not counting you. You're just a whole little group that flipped over. I'm going to count the other two, though. The Queen of Swords is coming with the Sun. Now, in this deck, the Sun is not necessarily the happiest card. I've said that many times. You're dealing with with the Queen of Swords and the Sun here. This is strict thinking. This is very emotionally sensitive thinking. This is intellectually thinking. She is very smart, very intelligent, and this is why I said it's coming with the Sun, and that all depends. She's smart enough to know the game. She's smart enough to know the bullshit. She's already been through the bullshit. But she's also fighting herself right now, because it's the universal 12th house. This is the challenge. The challenge is to make it through the wheel. You don't want her to be cutting off your own head. You don't want to be cutting off your own head because you're overthinking it. You're trying to outsmart the situation and start it all over again accidentally, because we don't want to deal with things within that universal 12th house. If you lock them back up or you lie to yourself, you will be cutting off your own head, which then will be creating exactly the same life. The Sun card speaks to me. It's rush. It's rush in Hebrew. It is not the most illuminating card. It illuminates what you choose to illuminate, the blessing or the punishment. Are you going to cut off your own head because you don't want to heal, because dealing with some of that universal 12th house is really rough, and you'd rather start the Wheel of Fortune all over again? Or do you want a new cycle, and you're going to use her intelligently and learn from your mistakes and then create the blessing? You're being given a free will choice. You're being given a free will choice of how you choose to use your brain. Teach your brain how to think properly. Have control over your brain and your emotional thinking, and bring the healing to you. And the universal 12th house is a bad place to be partying, folks. It's a bad time to be partying, when you're dealing with that right now. Because it's a good way to run away from the truths. And if you're running away from the truths because you don't want to have to actually deal with them, then you're going to actually end up creating the hook. This is the star. You have the star as the challenge. Will you go get the hook you want, or will you hook the same damn shit that you've hooked so many times in the past? You are all the way around. You're being given a free will choice of understanding, knowing how all of this works, knowing how the manifestation works, understanding that it's up to you. Magic. The alpha and the beta. The beta is in Hebrew what the magician is. The magician, the way that this deck works when I connect it with Hebrew, the magician can create anything. He's an apprentice. But the only time he creates anything that's worth anything is when he's connected to the higher self. Because if he's not connected to the alpha, his manifestation is just creating more shit, more or less. So they're saying, get connected with your higher self. If you stay connected with your higher self, you're going exactly in the direction you need to be going in. And you'll turn that Wheel of Fortune over. This is actually beautiful energy. It may be dealing with some harsh stuff because it is the 12th house. But this is very beautiful blessings. You're being given the blessing to create whatever you want if you believe in yourself and know that whatever has happened in the past is the past. It's the past. It's nothing more than a lesson. Forgive yourself. Realize what has happened. And now pick yourself up. Let the kitten play with the polar bear. And reignite the fire. Mercury. This is all about how you're going to communicate with yourself. Because this is the energy that they're telling you need to understand right now. Mercury is going in retrograde. Up until it goes in retrograde, yeah, you're probably picking things a little apart way too much. Both inwardly and outwardly, just getting irritated very easily. Because Mercury's in retrograde in your universal 12th house. But prior to that, it's shadow. On the 7th, it goes retrograde for 3 weeks. So, your communication right now needs to be slow down. This is when I say we have the word vomit, but it's in your 12th house. So I feel like this is definitely, some communication you're having with yourself about your truths that you've hidden from yourself. And if you're allowing Mercury to talk to you, make sure that it's telling you your truths on all levels, because you want the 12th house to teach you what didn't work, why it didn't work, where you screwed up, why you put it in the closet. But you also don't want to turn around and put it back in the closet. You want to heal it. So this isn't a redo. This isn't a redo in any way, shape, or form for you. This is a time of depth. And then not allowing ego to turn it into something that will turn it into self-sabotage and rip you apart. Because it's a brand new rebirth. This is Scorpio. Scorpio for me is the mystery of life. Scorpio for me is fertility. Scorpio is birth, death, and rebirth. You have the ability for rejuvenation, for rebirth. This is what you need to understand. All of this is to help you rebirth because you're working through your waters. I mean, this is very much a very positive energy. You just need to keep in mind this is water energy, and you're not quite used to the water energy. I mean, maybe not on this level. And this is water and fire. You know what this is? This is an inner revolution within yourself. This is fire meets water, because for you it's Leo. Your universal 12th house is Leo, but it's ruled by a water. So water, fire, steam, evaporation. This is getting rid of one thing and creating the other because of the two that are combined. This is an illumination for yourself. This is definitely a positive healing time for you. Like I said, you may not feel like it necessarily, depending on what all it is that's happened in your life, but it is definitely going in that direction. What does Virgo need to know to help them from the 1st through the 15th? If I can ever get all these cards just keep coming out. This is my Conscious Spirit deck. It's a brand new deck. I love this deck. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, that's the one I need. I don't even need to shuffle. You want the top deck. Reach out. I reach out my hand and my heart to connect to the unity of not unity. I keep saying unity, which I'm guessing it would be your own oneness, but it's unite. I don't know why I keep saying it. So I reach out my hand and my heart and connect it and unite it with my humanity. I mean, this is what I've been saying the whole time for you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising. What else is some uplifting, high vibrational energy that will help them as they go through this period of time and find this healing? First one out is Archangel Michael. You can always call on Archangel Michael. I am grateful for the strength and the courage that Archangel Michael brings to my life. And then you are also being given the sun goddess in itself, which is I celebrate, not create. I celebrate each sunrise and recognize the healing energies that the sun brings me every day, as it gives me another day to find healing and enjoy life again. It's this deck. The very first card off the top of the deck, they didn't even let me shuffle, is Strength. I need to stand up and have an opinion. Not I. You need to stand up and have an opinion, because In this case, your opinion is the only one that counts. This decision will have long-term effects on your life. I told you, this is either starting a brand new cycle or walking down that very same road all over again. It all has to do with what you're healing with. And I'm warning you, something about the day of the 7th and the 8th is going to have something to do with it. Or at least right there around those days. So what's this? Yeah, I had the wrong card. I picked up the wrong card. Richness. Search further. The deeper you explore this issue, the more truth you will find in it. It will be well worth the efforts. Keep telling you guys, you're just sifting through that 12th house. Commitment. Ask yourself the questions you often ask everyone else. What do you need? Listen to the answers and respond actively and committedly as you do for others in your own life. Do it for yourself. I don't see how that could get any better. It's just simply telling you, love yourself enough to heal. Love yourself enough to heal, enough to get to the true roots of who and what you are, and start a new cycle. Because you're being given the blessing to do so. But only you can make it the blessing. I love you guys. Also, if you enjoy the videos, please subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And if you happen to be interested in your own private readings, you can always look below in the description box, and you can find the information of how to reach me there. Bye, everybody. Love you.